Hey, welcome back to Two Dudes Different States. I'm Andrew,
I'm Zack.
and this is a full spoiler episode. So if you just go ahead and hit subscribe, come back to this video once you
Once you
talk.
watch it,
Once you watch it, we're talking Justice League, and then we're also maybe gonna talk about some Winter Soldier and Falcon.
did you watch it, Bennett?
I didn't, but you can just tell me about it.
Oh, you
Um,
gotta watch it.
but yeah, and if you could also just subscribe and listen anyways, and not come back later.
We have a bunch of other videos you can listen to that are chock full of great stuff.
Yep.
But I guess let's just get to brass tacks, Bennett. We're gonna start with the Snyder cut.
We're gonna
All
keep
right.
this shorter than the whole film. So.
Yes. A 4 hour long movie that was originally 2 hours long with Joss Whedon directing it.
hmm
Uh, I know I've already said this, but Warner Brothers really screwed up.
Yeah.
They had a great movie with
hmm
the Zack Snyder version. This was 100 times better than the original Justice League movie,
Totally different
and
film.
they screwed it up.
Yeah.
They screwed the pooch.
hmm
You know, DC's been a laughing stock compared to Marvel's
hmm
universe, and it's reboot after reboot, or it's actors just not wanting to play the characters. Dude, they could have. Oh my God, this movie was just so much better, and
hmm
I don't understand why they didn't keep. Dude, even if they kept like half the stuff that was in this movie, the movie
They
would have been
kind
a
of
hundred
did.
times better.
Yeah. Yeah. I saw someone explain it like this. Like basically, it was 4 hours. Then they brought Whedon in, cut it down to 2 hours, and then Whedon was like, "I need it to make more sense and be more concise and like be more like world building ish in like a more like linear capacity." Like so, like just like Steppenwolf shows up, he's the first villain that they fight or whatever, and so he shoots all this stuff that like just shows Steppenwolf as like the main villain, and like the Thanos dark side guy is over there and
Hmm.
whatever. And then this one, they're just like no, like dark side's in a
No,
lot of
Darkseid's the
it.
main guy.
Yeah,
He's Steppenwolf was
Steppenwolf's
just
a
like a
bitch.
stepping stone.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good movie. I mean, I watched it the full 4 hours. I thought I mean, there's a few things that I just didn't like. The
Sure.
beginning part
hmm
and what Amber Heard's what Mara, I think that's what her name is, Mara,
British
and
Mara.
yeah, and I might be on a boat here with this one, but I think Jared Leto is probably the worst Joker in the history of Jokers, and the
Does that
ending
include
scene to this
the old
movie
ones?
just solidified that he is the worst Joker. I
Yeah.
cannot stand his laugh. His laugh is
This one was
terrible,
better.
and it's just I didn't like him. I didn't like him as a Joker, and probably a lot of people think so, but I don't know if it's just you or me, but I don't like him as a Joker.
I
I
didn't
hope we
mind.
never see him
I didn't
again.
mind the scene. I think it being so he was just so different from like what we saw him doing previously. But I was still like that was still in my head when I was watching him,
Mhm.
and so I was like, I can't disassociate the two
Yeah.
completely because he's very different in this, but he's much more traditional Joker in this
Mhm.
versus his weird like tattoo forehead version um, that I don't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, I mean that was
Anyways,
a
Morbius is coming out soon, I think.
I don't know
Hopefully he does a
anything's
better
coming
job with
out.
that one.
Yeah. hmm
But I was talking to Adam about this. What was it, yesterday? I think it was.
Sure.
I wish these Marvel, including and DC,
hmm
they all did where they have they have all these comics. They have a million comics to go through. All right, they have storylines. They have they don't even have to take the same uh writing from the comic books.
Right.
But I wish they could just basically copy and paste it into a movie format.
hmm
And I don't know if you know what that, like, if I'm meaning by that. Like, it's basically you're just
Yep.
scanning what the comic is and then just translating it into a movie.
hmm
And I was uh Kevin Feige said the reason why they didn't do like the Infinity Gauntlet storyline is because everyone knows that storyline.
Right.
Everyone knows what's gonna happen. And I get that, like, you want to mix it up and you want to keep people on their toes. That's why people go to the movies,
Hmm.
for specific, reasons. But people would be so much happier if they just straight up just copy and pasted from the comics and made it into movies. And I think
Yeah.
that's how people will be more attracted to these movies. And it's the same with DC. If they took comic books and translated it into comic book movies, they'd be great movies.
Hmm.
So that's just my opinion on the whole subject, because I think Marvel's done a great job with their movies just because of they were kind of like the first ones to do it. But now that people see how Marvel does it and how DC does it, they're like, why can't we just do this? So,
Yeah, and yeah, I think you were kind of hitting on it real early in the beginning, but like, when Warner Brothers, um, if they had released this in 2017, um, it would have been a huge splash, and
mm.
I think I think Marvel would have been not scared, but like would have been put off guard by what
No,
came out
it
because
would have for sure
it
put them
might
in
have
a
even
in
changed the
a.
outcome of Infinity War or
Mm-hmm.
Endgame in some capacity.
Oh, for sure.
Hmm.
Because this movie, yeah, 2017, it came out before Infinity War
Right.
even. So yeah, so I guess they just I think the act of like Infinity War scared DC, so they probably just streamlined the whole wanting to get the Justice League together and push it forward
Hmm.
before Marvel does what they needed to do.
I think before is a bit of a stretch because it was already happening at that
Yeah,
point.
but
But I again, I think I mentioned this to you or somebody else the other day that it was also kind of like a financial decision to not have it be 4 hours because um,
no one's gonna pay. No one's gonna pay to watch a 4-hour movie.
not that they wouldn't pay because I think people would pay. You could put an intermission in it or something like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
this one's broken up by chapters, and I have those listed in the video right now. But um, so at any point you could have like just like been like here's like a 20-minute intermission or like 10 minutes even, and
Mm-hmm.
but like the idea is that like theaters only have so many screens, and this is when theaters were open, 2017 and you can only show the movie so many times because of the runtime. So they were trying to get as many people in seats as quickly as possible and like as many times as they could in a certain day. So if like you know if you're only charging $20 a ticket or whatever, for a 4 hour film, well for 2 hours you're making twice that already.
Mm. And Joss Whedon did the second Avengers movie, right?
You did the first one and the second one.
Yeah. So he, you can't really say it was he started his career. I think he did it like Buffy the Vampire Slayer or something
Yeah, he
like
did a lot
that.
of stuff.
But I guess like people were not impressed with the second Avengers movie, Age of
Yeah, it was
Ultron.
not good.
And so like I guess like people were like get rid of Joss Whedon, and then he went to DC to start directing this movie,
Hmm.
and I guess that just solidified the fact that maybe Joss Whedon isn't that great.
Yeah, he got pretty lucky with
It,
the first one.
yeah, yeah.
He-
I, I think the reason he got so lucky with the first one was because it was the first one.
right, and it was
There was
just
nothing to base it
it was
off of.
so modern, like with the
Hmm.
CGI and the effects and the actors and
Exactly.
bringing together
So,
several different movies and making a coherent story.
yes.
Hmm.
And I guess, after the second one, people were like, "Oh, ugh, that's not, ugh, it's not good. It's no bueno."
Hmm.
And then he just goes straight into another one of those types of movies and screws that one up.
Hmm.
And I guess it was bad for him all around. I think it was, and I have no idea what it's like to be a director. I have no idea like the decisions that come into play when making these types of decisions. But I'm assuming that some of the decisions that he made for this movie were not it, and I guess DC was just like, oh well, he did these Avenger movies. He has the right idea.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. There should have been something else involved with
I don't know.
that, but
Well, here we are 4 years later with
the Snyder cut.
the cut we should have gotten.
Can you believe this was all started because people on Twitter were like, release the Snyder cut?
Yeah, because
That's all.
they knew this wasn't what he wanted.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and kind of from the beginning, I was on board. I wasn't like shouting it from the rooftops, but I was like,
Mm-hmm.
I would definitely want to see that because I know that's
Yeah,
different.
yeah. It,
Yeah.
it was, and it was different.
Mm-hmm.
It was
It's
something that
far
was,
superior.
yes, exactly.
Because like
And
it.
I
Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, and like maybe now that DC saw all like the fan response from this,
Mm-hmm.
they're gonna be like, okay, well maybe we should try and build off that movie instead of building off the original movie.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, I think they need to, and I think just the high praise it's getting already, I think they're gonna probably start making deals
hmm
to get whoever they can to come back and continue from where they left off at this point. But in this movie, I really felt like I don't know how you feel, but I think my favorite character was Cyborg.
see, I'm not a big fan of him in general.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't a fan. I'm not a fan of him like in the comics and the
Yeah.
TV shows and all that type of stuff. And granted, the original version of this movie, the CGI in it was just terrible
Mm-hmm.
with him. It felt a little different, but it still felt like he was the same cyborg that he was.
Yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the design of him.
I think they tried to make it, instead of him looking like a cyborg, it was like him looking like a human more.
Mm. Mm.
If that kind of makes
I
sense.
don't know. I think I'm just so like nostalgic about like the cartoon version
Yeah,
from
I
Teen
was just I
Titans,
was just
where things
thinking
were just
that.
like more simple and rounded, where
Mhm.
this version is like more jagged and maybe a little more alien like, where like you'll
Yeah.
see his like his legs and like his chest and like things are just more like plates on top of one another.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I feel the same way. I mean, I guess I am just kind of used to the Teen Titans version of Cyborg, and the comedic aspect of him and all that. But
mhm.
um, yeah, I think my judgment is blinded by that fact.
Yeah.
But and then the same with Barry Allen. I don't think Ezra Miller is a good Flash. I really don't.
No, I
I,
do agree with that. I think he did well in this movie, but I think there were just moments where I was like, he's not really pulling off whether it's the comedy or like, and when he's serious, I kind of liked it, but I think he's somewhat supposed to be the comedic relief at times. He's more. That's what they were kind of like putting him in role, like not like in this role, like at times in scenes. He was often supposed to be like the joke, but like when he's like prepping to like run around in circles and
I don't like his run. I really don't like his
oh
run,
yeah, I
where he's
mean
just
that's
whipping his arms like this. I don't like that at
mm-hmm.
all. Why? I mean, like I get there's some like limitations you have to be like when you're trying to run fast and make it look like he's running fast, but he's not. I just the
I
whole
apparently that was his decision to do, and they just went with it. So,
just
um,
chalk that up to another reason why I don't like his version. If that was his idea.
but he still is in my favorite scene in both films, which is like when they first bring back Superman, and they're like Superman doesn't really recognize what's happening, so they have to kind of fight him, and
Pet
he,
Sematary.
and 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 he runs, and he like his first time Flash is showing that he can use his speed
hmm
against Superman. So he's running and he's trying to get around him, and you see from Barry's perspective, um, like Superman like slowly turns his head and like sees him running at super
hmm
speed, and like he like obviously Superman can keep up with him, and so it's
Yeah.
just like this great moment, and I still think that's funny and like just such a good moment because he's like in
No,
total shock because no one has ever been able to look at him while
exactly.
he's moving that
It's
fast.
yeah, that was funny too.
Hmm.
That was actually, yeah, that was probably top 5 moments in that movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I think my favorite part was at the end, how different the fight scene was
Yeah,
with
it is.
Steppenwolf and Superman and all them.
Oh, it's completely different.
It was almost nothing was the same.
Mm-hmm.
And just I saw this on Twitter the other day. Like people were comparing Wonder Woman to cutting off Steppenwolf's head, and Thor from Marvel
Mm-hmm.
just not cutting off Thanos' head at the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And like people were like this, like they were getting in arguments over like how the two movies differed, and like Gal Gadot's portrayal of Wonder Woman doing that, and and Chris Hemsworth's Thor doing what he did in his movie. And I'm just like, why are you guys arguing about this? Like
More,
it this
more
is
pointless
this is like
arguing.
it's just so dumb.
Mm-hmm.
The whole argument between DC and Marvel is just so frustrating, because you got a bunch of these just fan people nerds that are just arguing over stupid stuff. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, they're two different universes, two different companies, two different studios.
Mm-hmm.
They're obviously gonna do things different, and it's, you can't just copy and paste it from one studio to another. But
Can't. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I would say that just to get back to the other topic, I'd say that like Cyborg is my favorite character in this film, just because I think his like story is so flushed out, and
mm,
there's like so many moments where it's like his flashbacks to before his accident, and like all the stuff like with his dad, and you don't really see a lot of like father and son stories that often anymore. Um, just like aren't portrayed the same way as this is being portrayed, and like him learning what his powers really are, and like that little recorded tape his dad gives him to like tell him like, I'm not telling you this as your father, I'm telling you this as like a scientist, like I know what you're capable of.
mm,
And like, you see that little like story of him like following this woman's life, and like he like just gives her $100,000 to like
yeah,
help
I
her.
mean that was interesting. Yeah,
Yeah, and I was like, I like that stuff. Like he understands what he's capable of, and like in a single moment, he could fire every nuke off in like the world, and like we all talk about how powerful Superman is, but he can't do that.
yeah,
He couldn't destroy everything instantly. Like he couldn't, but like Cyborg could. Like he could just take down entire systems and manipulate everything, everywhere. like,
yeah. That is true.
uh-huh.
And the one thing I wish, like, going back to like just translating it from comic to movie,
Mm-hmm.
is just the whole like ending in the Flashpoint universe got me. Like, I know you watched all the animated movies, right?
Yeah.
You've seen like all of them, like Apocalypse War. I wish they could make that into an actual like Warner Brothers movie
Mm-hmm.
with like real people playing these characters, because that movie was dope. It
It's
was
great.
it was really good. And then along with the Flashpoint, I know that movie's coming out either later this year or next year, and both of them hinted at the whole uh new universe. Like, the end of the movie hinted at Injustice,
Mm-hmm.
and the and as well as Flashpoint. So it's gonna be interesting to see where Warner Brothers takes what they know now with this movie, and how they're gonna translate it into other movies.
Yeah, I
But
get that. Mm-hmm.
but now you have the two original cast members for these movies. You got Henry Cavill gone, and you got Ben Affleck gone. So now I don't know how they're gonna manage that.
I think if Zack Snyder, like officially like, came back and was like, I'm gonna keep doing this like for a long time, like Kevin Feige style.
Hmm.
I think he could probably get Ben Affleck back, because I'm pretty sure Zack Snyder convinced Ben Affleck to do it the first time. Um, yeah, I'm
I
pretty
know
sure.
I know people were not fond of Ben Affleck's Batman. I mean, I
He's a
wasn't
good
really
Bruce
either.
Wayne, but I don't know how I feel about. I don't know.
Batman.
He hasn't really just been Batman. He was
Hmm.
a little bit in Batman v Superman, but like he's only been in two movies, so
Yeah.
it's hard to like really
Yeah, I
depict it.
mean
And both of them
it's
been
hard to
ensembles, so
distinguish. I mean, I guess people are just blinded by the fact that Christian Bale was Batman for what, 6 years,
mhm,
3 movies, 6 years or something like that.
mhm,
But I then you, Batman's basically the Spider-Man of DC with
yeah.
how often they reboot him. Along, well, I mean,
Well, not even
as well as
rebooting, but like
Superman.
need him.
Mm,
Um, I think just because he's part of the trinity of like Superman, Wonder Woman, Batman, like he's just part of this unique trio that's always been in DC. And even when it came to like the animated films, um, there was either most were Batman like focused in some way,
mm,
or they just had him in it. I think there was maybe two films that I can think of off the top of my head that didn't have Batman in it at all.
yeah,
Even like the Justice League Dark stuff had to have Batman because Batman was like
he
a
was
way to
tied to
bring
so
in
many of the
more people.
characters.
What?
Yeah, He's tied to like so many characters, like Zatanna,
Mm-hmm.
uh, and a few of the other sorcerers, and a few, and then even with Superman, like he's tied to a bunch of other people. A lot of these characters aren't like you can do a lot of these standalone character movies, but a lot of them need two of the three in their movie a lot of the time to just get the point across.
Yeah, I agree with that. Anything else you wanted to talk about with that? Otherwise, you could tell me all about Marvel.
Like we should switch gears to Marvel.
Okay.
So Friday was the first episode of Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh, this is gonna be a little bit of spoilers, but then again, it's the first episode, so I really don't know what what to expect from the show.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I mean, it was okay. I mean, I feel like it's gonna be like the way WandaVision was.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna really start picking up like after after the first act.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't see Zemo at all.
Right.
He wasn't in it. Um, it really just focused on Sam and Bucky the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, Sam, is still working for the military, and he, trying to do what he thinks is right as just the Falcon. He's not Captain America or Captain Falcon or whatever that guy's name in the comic was. And Bucky, he's basically he's been pardoned
Mm.
by the U.S. government, and he has three rules where he can't kill anyone. He has to tell people he's no longer the Winter Soldier, and another one where he can't do anything illegal.
Okay.
So, and he's supposed to go to therapy,
Uh-huh.
but it's just I really have no idea where this is gonna go. Like, I mean, I have a feeling it's just gonna be like down with the establishment type of deal
Mm-hmm.
with the whole like new group that they have in the show, like the people with the masks
Mm-hmm.
and Zemo.
Yeah.
But I really don't know. And then the guy that they have playing the new Captain America or whatever, the Bill Russell guy,
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Russell's son,
Mm-hmm.
Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's son. He I've always known him to have like a beard and just blonde beard and long blonde hair, but he has the Captain America helmet on and he looks exactly like Tom Holland. And it's super weird.
Wait.
But
So you need to explain that a bit more.
what?
There's a new Captain America.
Yes, there is they're basing it off like the comics. So like after Steve
Uh
dies,
huh.
they bring in another Captain America who is basically uh a vigilante.
Mm-hmm.
He carries a gun, he carries Captain America's shield, and he just beats the living shit out of people. And he's basically he's Captain America, but he's not Captain America. Like all of his morals and all of Captain America's morals and like ideals just don't exist to him. He's basically a propaganda tool by the U.S. government to make people believe that this is the new Captain America and you should believe what he does.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole
That reminds me of the Reign of
basically,
Superman story
yeah,
when Superman dies, and then like a bunch of other like superhumans just show up claiming to be Superman,
hmm
but they're all like
exactly,
terrible.
yeah. that he was in the first episode for maybe about 10 seconds. He was at
Mm-hmm.
the end, and like I said, he's basically a propaganda tool by the
Mm-hmm.
government. And you know how after the Winter Soldier, uh, Steve was like, "I'm not gonna follow the government's rules. Like, I'm not gonna be used by the government.
Mm-hmm.
I've already done that, and it just shows I can't do this anymore." This is basically the complete opposite. Like the guy that they have as the new Captain America is 100% owned by the government,
Mm-hmm.
and the government will tell him what to do and all this other type of stuff. Like he's basically there to like smile and wave.
Is he gonna be the Hydra Captain America?
No, no, I
Mm.
don't think so. I think like Hydra's gone. I think like I don't think they're gonna bring
I don't
Hydra
know.
into this like at all.
They never explain any of that stuff. So
About what? Like where
so like
Hydra?
because like right. So what was it? No, it was Winter Soldier, right? That's when they revealed all the Hydra
Yes,
agents, right? They released all
yes.
that info. Okay, so that
Mm.
was, I guess that. But like,
Oh, they dived a little bit into there was like a senator or whatever that was still Hydra,
mm-hmm,
and he used his three rules to capture her and basically lock her up.
mm-hmm,
So I guess like Bucky's trying to like make amends for like all the things that he did as the Winter Soldier,
right,
to a part of his like plea bargain or whatever,
mm-hmm.
his pardon. So he's like going after former Hydra people as well as, just trying to live his life because now he's basically alone. There's no Steve, there's no more Captain America. So,
Have they like said anything about like the Avengers still existing, like as an
uh
organization?
yes. They've said, well, they make a joke like to Sam when he's trying to get like a loan from the bank. He goes, "Well, there's a huge gap in your work history because he worked for the Avengers for a hot minute."
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, "How do you guys get paid? Is it just like Stark paying you, or like what's going on?" So that was kind of a joke. But at the same time, like they're trying to get a new group together because all the original Avengers just aren't there anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Like Thor's off with the Guardians of the Galaxy, Tony's dead, Steve. I don't even know if he's dead or not in this show
I
because apparently this show takes place 6 months after the events of Endgame.
mm-hmm. Well, he's still an old man, right? That's
Yeah, so I don't know if he's like dead or if like he's just living his life
he's
still.
retired.
I don't know. And then uh Natasha's dead. Clint is retired, I think, too.
mm-hmm.
So like there's no original Avengers anywhere. So I think I take a lot of like what I say like when I watch those new Rockstar videos. They broke down that, and so like people are saying like Thunderbolt Ross is trying to get a group together to form the Thunderbolts.
Mm-hmm.
So basically the new Avengers. So we'll have to wait and see, I guess.
Yeah.
Because from what everything I've seen about like this, including WandaVision, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Loki are all gonna like tie into future Marvel projects.
Mm-hmm.
So no one has any clue of like where they're going. Because even when it came to WandaVision, people were like, "Oh, this is where mutants are gonna get put into the universe and Mephisto and all this other type of stuff," and they were completely wrong about that.
Mm-hmm.
So
As always.
yeah.
I don't think anybody's ever made like a solid prediction about Marvel anything because they're Marvel always
Yeah.
like people always like
They,
predict super highly for like just like way over the top stuff, and then they get everybody hyped up about something like that happening, and then it
mhm.
doesn't even come close. Like the whole like at the end of WandaVision, like whoever the Vision actor is was like
Paul Bettany.
Paul Bettany was tweeting about how he got to work with some actor, but it ended
Yeah,
up being a joke that like
exactly.
he was just working with himself.
Yeah.
So
It,
it's just
that
like,
that was I was
oops.
pissed about that. I was super pissed off about that because
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, mutants are coming, or
Mhm.
James McAvoy as Professor Xavier and
Mhm.
all this other type of stuff.
Mhm.
I was super pissed off about that.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously that's not directly Marvel marketing, but they've definitely I've definitely seen the reputation of Marvel as like they really build up stuff, and then like
Hmm.
the payoff is usually not as it's good, but it's not like as good as you really
It's not what
wanted it to
people
be.
expected it.
Yeah, people always want like a 11, and they give you like an 8.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I mean that's still a solid score, but I mean,
Yeah, no, I'm saying it's usually good,
mm,
but it's just
yeah,
never exactly what the top thing you could be doing.
yeah, and I guess that's where kind of, like people kind of get pissed off, like as well as like, and this can go back to DC. People have like
Mm-hmm.
all these high expectations of DC movies because there's like what you had the Christian Bale Batman's movies, and all these animated, dude, all these animated movies are like 100 times better than the actual movie, uh, like real actor movies,
Yeah, they are.
except for like maybe like a couple of them. But like all these, like the Suicide Squad movies,
Mm-hmm.
the Justice League Dark, the Justice League War, Justice League Apocalypse War.
Such a good one.
It's they're all like really good movies. Like the animation's great,
Mm-hmm.
the writing's great, and the voice acting's great because you have like a bunch of like these famous actors like Kevin Conroy, who is famous for his Batman voice,
Mm-hmm.
who's done all these movies and all these games. But then you just have Ben Affleck come in and with his type of voice. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
they did remind me just now of like the ending of Justice League that I think it was probably my favorite scene actually in the whole movie is they lose. Um,
Yes.
and it's not something anybody really seems to be talking about because like if you look, I think it's because of Infinity War, and I think if this happened before Infinity War, that I think Infinity War would have been less cool because
Yeah,
they
for
lose in
sure.
that. That's the whole point. Is they lose, the snap happens, and like half the universe dies, and um, in this they lose again, and Earth just gets destroyed. But in that same moment, Barry is like, I need to like, I need to run fast.
I gotta go fast.
Yeah, and he reverses time basically, which I've seen online that people were not fully aware that that was what was happening. Um, but it is like he's like clearly like running so fast that he can rewind time to the
Time.
moment he
Yeah.
needs to be right at Cyborg to push him in. Uh,
Yeah, so that's what I yeah, so like that's what Flashpoint I think the new Flash movie is going to be talking about.
mm-hmm.
So
Well,
that and was it I forgot what I was going to say. Dang.
sorry.
Go ahead.
One thing I noticed right at the end, like they're kind of wrapping everything up and showing each of the heroes and like where they are after the events. And the one thing they showed Barry doing was he was running down the street, and then like in an instant he like vanishes. And I don't know
Mhm.
if that was just like, oh, like he's just taking off and going further down, and like you just don't see him because he's moving so fast. But it looked like he just kind of ran so fast that he ran through like a portal basically
Mhm.
in that moment. And I think you kind of hear like his dad or his mom talking in that moment.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that was like intentionally to be setting up that flashpoint kind of thing or what, but it was it was cool. All
I
of it's
mean,
cool.
they actually showed like the whole like idea of Flashpoint in the Justice League Snyder cut, but
Mhm.
at the same time, the whole idea of Injustice is I think the next what DC is going to do with their Justice League is the Injustice storyline,
That would be smart, honestly.
because they talked about Lois being the key and how
Mhm.
she's like the most important character in the in the movie almost, because who can really stop Superman unless it's a kryptonite object? And
Another Superman.
exactly, but where are you gonna get another Superman?
Another universe.
So I think in the next like 2 to 3, maybe even 4 years, we're gonna get like an announcement saying we're gonna have a new Justice League movie, and it's just gonna be Injustice.
What's interesting is that if it is Injustice, is that considered a video game movie?
Holy shit! It might be, Bennett. It might as well be.
Well, I think we're going to end on that polarizing
We're gonna leave
question.
you with that
Yeah.
because we have no clue.
Mm-hmm. um, big thing coming out this week though. Invincible on Amazon comes out this week. Are you aware of that?
I think I've seen a
J.K.
commercial for
Simmons.
that.
Simmons, yeah, plays
It's a guy in a
it's an
green
anime.
suit, right?
It's like blue and yellow.
Oh, okay, so the green suit, technically, because it mixes. But I think yeah, I did not know that came out this week. I'll
Yeah,
have to check that out.
26th. So like Thursday, I think.
Holy shit, my week is just chock full of awesome things this week, huh?
Friday. Yeah. If we don't get Rookie tonight when we're filming this on a Sunday. Rookie comes out on Sundays. If we don't get Rookie, I'm gonna be so pissed.
I can't watch it. I don't have.
Oh, all right.
I'll have to figure out a way to
We'll figure that out for you.
palm it off of someone else for a little minute.
Yeah, we'll figure that out.
But all right, everyone. We'll
Mhm.
see you next week.
We have 2 episodes of Attack on Titan that we have to watch.
Is that today? Please tell me it's today.
I don't know.
I
You're
think
the guy. You're the anime guy.
I'll have to look it up because it's almost 4 o'clock. I can't remember if because they're what 13 hours ahead of us,
Sure.
right? I
Mhm.
want to say. Yeah, they're 13 hours ahead of us. So it's technically Monday in Japan.
Yeah.
So I think we might be getting 2 episodes today.
Is it back to back or is it like
I think so. I think it's
okay,
back to
a
back.
full hour?
So you're getting last week's episode that did air for 5 minutes or whatever in Japan.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so like all the spoilers that I've been avoiding on like Instagram and stuff and on
Yeah.
Twitter,
Mhm.
those have all been like from like the first like 5 to 10 minutes of the show
Mhm.
from last week. So they're now showing this week the rest of the just the whole last week's episode and this week's episode like right after one another.
Okay. Cool. Can't wait.
So I'm excited.
All right then. I guess we're done. Bye everybody.
Bye.